All right, let's roll it.
Hello, everybody. Another one of these check-ins that I wanted to do, and one of the reasons that I wanted to check in today, there's actually a few reasons I wanted to check in today. First off is because today I am celebrating 10 months free of alcohol in my life, which for those of you who are familiar with or followed along with or are have paid attention to my story of recovery in any way, I'm just rounding 4 years free or substance free of cocaine, which is amazing, after a 3-year relapse that dramatically changed my life for the worse but for the better in the end, always. And now rounding 10 months free of alcohol, which is what I want to talk about today a little bit. And I want to talk about some of the things that I've experienced as someone recovering or choosing not to drink. I don't know if I think of it so much as recovering anymore as just a choice that I choose not to drink, but recognizing all of the ways in which alcohol can be harmful for me and all of the ways in which it can lead to other things. So in saying that, I guess the conversation that I want to have with you today, and the conversation that I hope to start and continue to move forward with and chase down a little bit, is, are we being completely inclusive in yoga for those people, or yoga and wellness for those people who are actively battling addiction, who are possibly just entering the preliminary phases or pre-contemplation phases of entering addiction recovery, or people who are in recovery? Are we being inclusive of these people now in our yoga and wellness communities? So I first want to say that we are so inclusive in so many ways for people experiencing or who have experienced trauma. We're so inclusive of ways for all bodies. We're so inclusive in ways in our language and the way we hold ourselves, and the space that we've created really within yoga and wellness, I feel, has created an extremely safe place for many, many people, and especially groups who didn't feel inclusive before in what it was that we're doing. And now my question is, how can we do better? Because as someone who is recovering themselves or moved on from an addiction that they had been dealing with in the past, my question is, are we now in our wellness communities and yoga communities setting everyone up for success? Or are we missing and having some blind spots on triggers and possible ways that things we're doing could affect other human beings? And so my question today is, have we thought about it? In saying that, I'm someone who used to teach and hold events, cannabis yoga, bend and brew classes, those kinds of things. I would go to breweries and teach them and do different things. And I'm going to circle back to the cannabis conversation really soon, because I have some things that I want to say and clarify and clear up in regards to that. It won't be in this video, but another video coming soon. But also, I understand that those private events, people seek those out because they want those. So I don't feel like someone dealing with recovery is going to be seeking out a bend and brew yoga class, or perhaps a cannabis yoga class, or whatever it is that they find that's out there in the world. But what about these bigger events? These bigger events, yoga festivals, different things, where we're saying that these are inclusive for everybody, right? We're saying, if you're in the world of wellness, if you love yoga, all of these things, come and do these events with us. We consider people's health in so many capacities when we set up these days. Do we think of people's mental wellness or people's possible battles with addiction or recovery when we set up to hold events and things where we then invite in alcohol sponsors or beer sponsors or different things that could possibly trigger someone in recovery? Are we thinking about what that says, and are we being inclusive for everybody? So if I'm a human being dealing with recovery and I'm working on my wellness and I'm doing all of these things, and I want to participate in an event that is supposed to be community, love, compassion, acceptance, inclusivity, all of these things, and I want to go and continue to grow as a person and to get more in depth with my recovery or self or whatever it is, and I get really excited. And then I find out that amongst all of the things that are considered well, that are considered healthy, that are considered good for the soul, we throw in alcohol. Do we think about what that can do to people and how that could make then someone first think that they're not allowed to be involved, or that they can't be involved because now they have to separate themselves from anything where that trigger could happen. And so we're excluding them from that world. So that's one sort of side to look at. And then also, how are we saying that in a world where we know that alcohol is a depressant, where there are more negative effects to alcohol than there are positive ones, where we're promoting this type of thing at an event that we call a wellness or health event? It's sort of like, I look at alcohol on the lines that I look of nicotine. And, you know, ex-smoker, you're looking at one, you couldn't have told me in a million years. We know all of the negative side effects as to what happens with nicotine. We sell it as a legal product. We sell it as a substance that people use. The same with alcohol and cannabis. And we wouldn't promote, you know, that type of organization or that type of corporation at a wellness event. So my question is, why would we promote alcohol as well, especially when there are more negative side effects to it than there are positive side effects to it? So it's not that I have the right answer, or I'm saying what's right or wrong. It's just a conversation I really want to have. Is there more ways that we can start to be inclusive of everybody in these moments? Do we need to have alcohol companies, beer companies, draft breweries, or breweries of different kinds at events that we consider wellness events, where we're trying to push holistic modalities and, you know, opinions on people, not opinions, that's not the right word, where we're trying to offer holistic modalities and ways in which we can better ourselves as humans, but then we're offering this kind of negative, heavy thing? Do we think about that? Do we think about including those people, or the people that we're excluding in those moments? And that's just a conversation I want to have, because as someone dealing with recovery, I know I'm very, I believe to be very strong in my recovery. I can allow myself to be around alcohol and it not bother me. It actually is, watching people drink is a really fast indicator as to why I don't do it, if that makes sense. Which is just my method of how I deal with things and how I handle my own recovery. But when as someone who's stronger maybe than someone who isn't ready to see that kind of thing, are we just being inclusive of them? I guess that's really my question. And I want to have that conversation with people. And I want to keep that conversation going, because I think it's really important, you know, when we're looking at including everyone. Just food for thought. You know, again, as I'm celebrating a really big day for myself, 10 months choosing to not drink is, it's a pretty remarkable milestone to hit. So I wanted to share that all with all of you. Anyway, thank you for your time in my rants. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Do something for yourself. Do something for somebody else. Play, laugh, dance.